I am Maria Garcia de Fleury. On May 18, we remember the birthday of St. John Paul II. His mother, Emilia Kaczorowska, was in delicate health. She married Karol Wojtyla and they had three children: Edmund, Emilia, who only survived a few weeks due to the poor living conditions resulting from the First World War, and at almost 40 years old and with worsening health, she became pregnant again and was recommended to have an abortion. Emilia flatly refused, and so did her husband. On May 18, 1920, near Krakow in Poland, Karol was born healthy and strong, and the first thing he heard was the litany of Our Lady that was being sung in the church next door. Everyone called him Lolik. Speaking of himself, he said, I had not yet my first Holy Communion when I lost my mother. I was barely 9 years old. From then on, he grew up under the loving guidance of his father. That is why he wrote, My father's words played a very important role because they set me on the path to becoming a true worshiper of God. And he added, My father was a deeply religious man. Day after day, I was able to observe the austere way in which he lived. His example was, in a way, my first seminar, a kind of domestic seminar. Karol was a vibrant, studious, athletic young man. He excelled in sports, including football and skiing. He was also a talented theater performer. His great love for theater led him to seriously consider becoming an actor. He participated in various local theater productions and co-founded the Krakow Rhapsodic Theater. He attended the Jagiellonian University in Krakow in 1938, where he studied Polish, language, literature, theater, and poetry. At that time, he met his spiritual mentor, Jan Tyranowski, and learned about the Carmelite mysticism of St. John of the Cross. This encounter profoundly changed the course of his life, leading him to the priesthood. However, his studies were interrupted when, during World War II, Nazi Germany invaded Poland in September 1939. To remain in the country, Karol was forced to work in a stone quarry and had night shifts at the Solvay chemical plant. Karol's father died of a heart attack in 1941. The following year, Karol began studying theology and was forced to go into hiding in 1944 after a repression against religious teaching. He miraculously survived being run over by a German truck. Through all these events, his vocation and the formation of his priestly identity matured. Karol entered a clandestine seminary directed by Cardinal Sepia and was ordained as a priest on the Feast of All Saints in 1946. He traveled to Rome to continue his doctoral studies. Upon his return to Poland, he was appointed assistant vicar of a parish in Nikowice. 10 years later, in 1964, he was elected Archbishop of Krakow. 3 years later, he was cardinal. On October 16, 1978, he was elected Pope and took the name John Paul II. His doctrinal legacy is one of the richest in the history of the Church. He tirelessly warded against errors the deposit of faith and tradition of the Church, promoting authentic theological, moral, and spiritual doctrine. He became one of the most familiar faces in the world and earned a reputation as an international freedom fighter because throughout life he knew that with God we always win.